Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to see everybody. Well, almost everyone. We're still missing 10, so I don't have everybody. I can see everybody. But welcome to those of you folks that are here this morning. Uh, Hopefully you're staying healthy. But with the weather, like in the 70s, and then it'll be like in the 50s, and making it's just we're riding that roller coaster of spring weather. So enjoy the good days while they're out there, and then just huddle in and stay warm on the other days. I think it's supposed to be warmer tomorrow than this today, but then Thursday it's going to be chilly again. So we'll just ride it out. Spring break's coming though. Hopefully, spring break. Haven't looked that far ahead on the weather, but then again, it's never accurate that far out, right? We got 2 weeks until spring break. Well, we'll just have to hope that we're in a good weather pattern by then, because want to enjoy ourselves. Anyone got any big plans over spring break? I'm not traveling anywhere myself or not doing anything. I think I'm cleaning out the garage during spring break, which is a big plan because there's a lot to do there, but nothing exciting. Nothing you'd want to invite friends over for. Actually, I'd love to invite friends over for that. That would help a lot, but nobody wants to do that on spring break. So no friends going to come over and help me clean out my garage. There's a lot that needs to be done there. So I had it where I could get my car in there, and then I put the Christmas tree in the garage just to get it out of the living room, and now I can't get a car in there again. So I'll get it organized. We'll get the car in there. If I could get two cars in there, it'd be crazy. That hasn't happened in like decades, I don't think. So, all right, we'll give it another minute or two. Let's see. We've been looking at if else, your else statements. We looked at the logic of and, or, and not. So if this is true and this is true, then execute this code down here. We've been doing that kind of things. Or if it's if this is true or this is true. So last week was our discussion-based assessment. I know a lot of people have taken that. Last I looked, not everyone had done that, but it's 10 questions. It's just a Google form. I'll pull that up on here because some folks were like, I did a few emails from students last week trying to find this. It's like, I didn't think that I hit it that well. But last week's assignment, there was the lesson, which there wasn't a lesson. That just said prepare for the discussion-based assessment. If you go to the assignment, it's right here. Here's the link. That's where you get to the questions. 10 questions. And with those questions, if you haven't done that, if you have done it, you know exactly what it's doing. Those questions basically are, most of it is, it gives you an if statement. It gives you some code. And it'll say like a variable, x equals 5. And then they'll have some if statements. So if this is true, then print that, else print this, or if, elif, elif. And you have to figure out what it would print. So you got to go through there and just follow the logic. If x is greater than 10, print A or something. It's like, well, no, x is 5, so it's not going to print A. Does it say else print B or something? So, okay, they don't print B because the if statement was false, so it'll go to the else. But what if that's an elif? Elif, if x is greater than 5. Well, x is not greater than 5, it's just 5. So then maybe there's an else print. I don't know. Just follow the logic on all of those and figure out what's it going to print. And some of them have an and or an or in there, so you got to pay attention. Because or either one could be true, and then you would print what's underneath it. And both of them have to be true if it's and before it would print what's underneath it. It's just following the logic. And the folks, I'm looking at who turned it in here. Well, you did great. You were able to follow the logic and really understand, oh, okay, so it would print this, or it wouldn't print that, it would print this. And so I see the scores I've got recorded. I expect that. If you did it over the weekend, I haven't looked at it yet. But the scores that were recorded earlier in the week, you are understanding very well. You nailed it, which is going to help a lot with this week. So I'm glad you're getting that. You're understanding that. So even though I wasn't able to schedule time with everyone individually to go through that, I can see that you're understanding, which is good because that's usually what the discussion-based assessment is about. Is I can check and see, do you know what's going on? Are you kind of getting this whole if if else, and, or all that kind of stuff. So, all right. Well, welcome to Monday. We have one more Monday next week, and then we have spring break. So next week is our kind of wrap up for the first half of the spring semester. Although I think we're over halfway now. I think we've already had, it's like week 10, so we're actually over halfway. That's why it seems so quick at the spring break, because spring break is not in the middle of the semester. It's actually a little bit towards the end. But next week, actually, you get spring break like a day earlier, because next Friday is not a school day. I know we have our lab on Fridays where you come in person. Well, there's no school next Friday. So there is no lab next Friday. There's no in person next Friday, because that is the first day of spring break. There's a 4-day week next week, just Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. If you need any help and want to get stuff, help in person, Wednesday and Thursday, we will still have lab next week. You can come up Wednesday and Thursday for lab. So plan on that if you need help before spring break. This week, you can still come on Friday. We have all the in-person thing going Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You can come up to lab. So I think this week is our spring party too, I believe, if I remember correctly. I don't know, do I have something on that? Yes, March 13th. March 13th. So that is coming up real quick. That's this Friday from 1 to 3. So 1 to 3 is our spring celebration, just our spring party. So you can come up this Friday, 1 to 3, and have some snacks. And I think there's some crafts and some good stuff like that. Rock painting, music, snacks, the whole thing there. Your advisory class should have a Google form where you can RSVP so we know you're coming. Want to make sure we got enough snacks for everybody. So if you know for sure you're coming, go to your advisory class into the announcement there and respond to that so we can plan on you being here. But now next week, yeah, 4-day week, and then you get spring break plus a day starting on Friday next week. Teachers will be working that Friday. Actually, the virtual teachers, we're doing something pretty cool that Friday. We're splitting up into 2 groups, and we're going to go visit virtual schools in Springdale and Fayetteville. They have virtual schools too. We'll go down and meet with their teachers and see how they do things and kind of share ideas and tips and see if there's something they do that's really cool that we need to adopt, or see if there's something that we do that we can share with them that they might want to adopt. So we're going to get together and meet with other virtual schools just to compare notes and just to see what they're doing differently than what we're doing. So, all right, let's look at this week's. We're not going to be in here a whole lot of time because we're at the end of this module. We're going to go to our grade screen. Oh, that's not it. There you go. Click on that. And we'll see, this is it, the Module 4 project. Instead of a test, this module, we have a project, which makes sense in programming, writing a program to test you over what we've learned. That's really what this is. This is like our test, except it's a program. And see how we've done with this kind of stuff here. So let's go look at what the requirements are for this week's program. Module 4 project, when you click on this, that's where we usually find our lesson at. But this just says, here's your chance to put Boolean logic to work. You have the know-how. It's time to showcase your skills. So complete the reading this lesson, which this is page 1 of 1. There is no lesson. Practice all of the project template. So I have created the template and put it here because you can't type on this one here, but this is the template. And of course, when you turn it in, attach your Python zip file here, write your pseudocode and answer the review questions on the template. But let's look at the template. So if I go back over to the classwork, we're in week 28, due this week. I have again given you the AI helper. If you need the helper to help you write this program, that is available. But I'm going to look at the template here. Here is what our assignment is. So if you're up for a programming challenge, read on. If not, take a deep breath and then read on. So either way, you're reading on. You're going to use the software development lifecycle to create a working program of your choice. You get a choice here. That's going to test Boolean conditions based on user input. So any skills, functions you've learned up to this point. Let's look at step 1, the planning and analysis. Choose one. So you have three options here: one, two, and three. Members only. If you were going to create a club, what would it be? How could people join? This could be the people named Brock Club. See, I can make that, and then only one who has the name of Brock can join. Whatever you want to do. People that's exactly 5'4" club or something. Think about the membership requirements. Would members have to be between certain ages? You can only join if you're 14 and a half to 16. Would they have to like certain things? This is the cat lovers club. Would they need certain skills? Only people that can do a 360 flip on a bicycle. Because you're the president of the club, you get to decide. Just make sure the conditions are school appropriate, of course. So you get to decide what the criteria is. So here's the steps to begin planning. Create a club name and explain your club's purpose. So you just kind of put that in your pseudocode. I want to create a club called this, and this is what the club is about. And then list the conditions, and there should be at least 3 conditions to be a member of your club. Okay, you got to be at least 5'4". You got to own a skateboard, and you got to be 15 years old or more. Whatever you want. So you know about if else, and elif, and logical operators and or not. So you can test for about anything. So make up whatever conditions you want. All right. If you don't want to do the club thing, you could do the discount deals. Saving money makes people smile. So your job is to spread the cheer by coming up with some kind of discount plan. So you can create a discount plan for whatever store or make up your own store. Like maybe people who are under 18 that are on the honor roll get $5 off admission to this cool place, the amusement park or something, a museum, the aquarium. Maybe you want to reward honor roll students, military personnel, or state residents with free parking. Okay, free parking if you honor roll or from veteran or resident. Since this is your discount plan, you get to decide the criteria. Again, school appropriate. So use these steps. Choose a place, amusement park, movie theater, sport event, online store, or something, and explain your discount program. So that's, again, how you would put in your pseudocode. List the conditions, again, at least 3 to qualify for your discount. Again, we'll use if else, elif, logical operators to test whether or not they qualify. So that's the second option. The third option, if you want to create something of your own, go for it. If you want to have create a contest and what are the conditions to win, order a cake based on certain conditions, suggest some vacation destination. Would you like to go somewhere where it's warm or go where it's cold? The only good thing is you got to have at least 3 conditions, because that's what we're doing with all these things, to test if you want to choose your own thing. All right, step 2, after you figure out what you're going to do, here's the design part. Your program must include the following elements. I should bold and underline it. Must include the following elements. Input statements. You have to have 3 input statements requesting data, either numeric or non-numeric, from the user, which makes sense. If you're going to have 3 conditions to join your club, that means you're going to have to ask the user 3 questions. If you have 4 conditions, you'll have to ask 4 questions. Like, what is your age? If you're saying you got to be 15 to be in your club, you need to ask the user, what is your age? That's one of the conditions. And whatever else. Do you love cats? Yes or no? This is my cat lovers club. So you got to, whatever that is. You have 3 input statements. Use integer or float if it's a number. Right? If they're entering their age, you probably need to tell Python, hey, this is a number. So use integer or float if needed. Got to use if else, or elif. And you may need and or not, because if you're checking to see if they meet the requirements, if age is greater than or equal to 15, and love cats equals yes, and if this, then print welcome to the club. So you got to use if statements to figure out if they qualify. Output statements create clear, well organized output to display messages that show the user's input. Okay. So I'm going to underline that. And the results. So you said you were 17. We're going to repeat what they entered. Show the user's input. I'm sorry, you said you were 13. I'm sorry, you have to be 15 to join our club. whatever. Proper use of the string function. Again, if you're printing numbers, you're going to use the string function. Optional, this is optional. If you want to put things in a list, if you need to use a list somehow, you can do that. I don't know what you'd write, whether you'd need a list or not. Oh, here's you go. Put your pseudocode. Insert your pseudocode. All right, now the actual coding. Use Python idle. Make sure you have a main function. I'll put that in bold as well. Heading, name, date, short description of program. Indent things properly or it's not going to work. Use meaningful names for any of the variables where you save that. So here is an example of a couple of folks. This is the Wacky Writers Club. So first you have to be wacky. You have to be a writer. Oh, no, wait, no. Wanda, thank you for entering application questions. Oh, this is nice. They asked the user's name. It's because they called them by name. Wanda, your application replies are that your age is 15. You love to write. Your favorite genre is mystery. You've not had anything published, but you're not willing to share a story. It says, we love that you love to write. We do too. Unfortunately, you do not meet the willingness to share requirement for a membership to the Wacky Writers Club this time. Since you're not willing to share a story, you don't get in the club. So this one had a lot of things they asked them. They asked their name, they asked their age. So they asked like 6 questions because there's 5. They have 5 requirements to get in this club, which is great. That's fine. You just have to have a minimum of 3. But this one asked their name too. Let's pick a vacation destination. Chloe, thank you for your selections. So again, they asked their name. You said your ideal vacation would be on wavy water, looking for an adventure, and traveling abroad. So they may give them choices. Would you like to do a wavy water? Or you want to do mountain trails? You want to, and this is what they entered. The vacation destination recommended is to explore the Australian reefs in an undersea ship. So based on what they chose, we recommend a vacation. So that's 2 different choices. You don't have to do exactly what they do. This is just showing you examples. Make sure to submit your zip file and buzz, and then answer the questions. We have 6 questions to answer this time. Answer these questions. But don't do the questions until after you're done. Write your program first. Write your pseudocode, and then after you got your pseudocode, use your pseudocode to write your program, and then answer the questions after you write your program. But that's it. You got some choices here. Get your own club, whatever kind of club you like to create. Maybe you already have a club, and now you can make it as a program. Your discount deal, make a discount, or a programmer's adventure. And again, you do have the boost activity that will help you. Preview the activity here. I'll load it as a teacher. Then you click Let's Go over here, and it will ask you questions to help you figure out how to write this. Because here's the template. The AI knows what your assignment is because it has a copy of the template right here. So it will walk you through that if you need help. And of course, I'm available. Come later in class, Wednesday in class. I'm happy to help you with this. Anything you need on there. But that's what we have this week. Our end of unit project, or end of unit program, which have some fun with this. Make up a really cool club that you think, oh, this would be the club I would be the president of. Here's the requirements. I'm the boss. I'm saying what it takes to get in. Like when you're a little kid, you didn't want your little brother in the club, so you put up a little sign and said, nope, sorry, you're not cool enough to be in my club. Stay out of my room. Whatever excuse you can use, keep your little brother out of your room, right? Okay. Anyone got any questions on what we're doing this week? Give it some thought. Come up with something cool. Have some fun with it. I always say that. You can figure out the code. Figure out the fun stuff first. Okay, what do I want to do? So have a good time with that. All right, I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you get started on this. Start planning. Start thinking through it. Come up with some requirements for your club or your discount deal. What requirements? What can you do on a discount or whatever you want to do? You got options. So, all right, guys. I'll be here Wednesday morning. If you need some help, if you come up with something so cool you can't figure out how to write the code, come see me. We'll figure it out together.